You're probably sitting at your desk scrolling through another endless list of industrial label printers, wondering if any of them will actually solve the headache of misread barcodes, torn tags, and the constant need to reprint because the first batch just wasn't right. I get it, you don't want to drop a big chunk of budget on a machine that looks impressive on paper but ends up collecting dust, or worse, slowing your workflow. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and in the next few minutes I'll walk through why the Zebra ZT411 might be the answer for some businesses and a costly misstep for others. First off, let's talk about the problem space. In any operation that moves physical goods, whether it's a warehouse, a manufacturing floor, a hospital supply room, or even a large-scale retail back-of-house, you need labels that survive the environment, stick where they're supposed to, and scan reliably every single time. A flimsy label that peels off after a few minutes, or a printer that jams on the third batch, can cause inventory errors, shipping delays, and a cascade of extra labor. That's why the market is flooded with industrial printers promising ruggedness and speed, but the reality is that many of them are just bigger versions of office label makers, and the price tags don't always match the performance you actually need. The Zebra ZT411 is positioned squarely in that industrial tier. It's built to handle both thermal transfer and direct thermal media, which gives you flexibility. You can print a permanent, heat-fused label with a ribbon for assets that need to last months or years, or you can go ribbon-free for short-term shipping tags that you throw away after a single use. The machine supports USB 2.0, serial Ethernet, and Bluetooth 4.1, so you can hook it up directly to a PC on the shop floor, slot it into an existing network, or even pair it with a handheld device for on-the-go printing. Those connectivity options sound impressive until you consider the actual workflow of a small team that only prints a few hundred labels a week. Setting up Ethernet and managing network permissions can become an unnecessary hurdle. Let's break down who actually benefits from those capabilities. If you run a distribution center that prints dozens of different SKUs every hour, the ability to push print jobs over Ethernet to multiple workstations and have the printer sit on a dedicated rack means less downtime and more consistent output. The ZT411's 4-inch maximum print width covers most barcode and asset tag formats used in logistics, and the 203 dpi resolution is sufficient for crisp, scannable monochrome barcodes even when you're printing on a low-contrast surface. In a hospital setting where you need durable, heat-fused wristband labels for patient IDs, the reliability of a thermal transfer ribbon can be a lifesaver. For manufacturing lines that need to tag parts as they move down the line, the ability to pair the printer via Bluetooth to a rugged tablet means you can generate a label right at the point of inspection without pulling a cable. On the flip side, if you're a boutique retailer that only prints occasional price tags, or a small office that needs a handful of shipping labels per week, the ZT411 quickly feels like overkill. The hardware cost alone places it in the same bracket as a mid-range office printer, and then you have to budget for the ribbon. Zebra sells the ribbon separately, which is standard for thermal transfer machines, but it adds an ongoing consumable expense that many smaller operations overlook until the first invoice arrives. Because the ZT411 is built for volume, the user interface is geared toward technicians who can navigate its configuration menus, and a novice user may find the initial setup, especially configuring Ethernet or Bluetooth, more frustrating than the plug-and-play experience you get from a simple desktop label printer. Now, what are the practical strengths that actually matter after the box is opened? First, the enterprise-grade quality claim isn't just marketing fluff. The printer's metal chassis and sealed print head are designed to withstand the dust and temperature swings common in warehouses. Users who have reported that the printer kept running for months without needing a head cleaning found that to be a genuine time saver. Second, the dual-mode capability, thermal transfer and direct thermal, lets you choose the right media for the job, which translates into real cost savings. You can reserve the ribbon for high-value assets that need permanence, and switch to direct thermal for disposable shipping labels, meaning you're not burning ribbon on a label that will be discarded anyway. Third, the connectivity flexibility means you can integrate the ZT411 into almost any existing IT infrastructure. If your ERP system pushes label data over the network, The Ethernet port can handle high-throughput jobs without the bottleneck you'd get from a USB-only device. The weaknesses are just as concrete. The most obvious one is the consumable model. You need to purchase the correct ribbon for the material you're using, and mismatched ribbon media can lead to poor adhesion or smudged barcodes. Because the printer doesn't come with a ribbon, the total cost of ownership is higher than